Where's Dayton? I don't know where Dayton is. That would be wonderful to know. Can you talk about Dayton? This is me talking about Dayton. I don't know. He has not kept us updated. He has not kept us updated, and I wish him the absolute best. I'm glad you love the energy. Getting in trouble. I don't know if he is getting into. Again, if I started a rumor about Dayton, I am rescinding it. I did not mean to. I don't know anything, so I am taking back all lies that I've spoken about Dayton. They no longer exist. Nobody can ever blame them for me again because they have taken all of them back.
Hi, besties. Welcome back to my channel. There's been a rumor that's been circulating on the internet for I don't know, about a week that was started by Paedon Brown himself relating to his brother Dayton, who nobody in the family actually talks to other than the immediate siblings that they have, like Aurora, Brianna, Ariella, and Saul, maybe. But for whatever reason, Mr. Paedon is back on TikTok doing lives. He says he needs money, so he's doing it for money, I guess, which fine, whatever. Nobody cares about that. But he's been answering questions from fans. And there was a live from a week or so ago that apparently no one saved. But he said that Dayton had been kicked off of the show for doing something bad. And then when he was asked about it a second time, he denied that he said anything about Dayton. He called what he said about Dayton a lie and basically said he was rescinding anything that he said about Dayton that he started about Dayton, which is what are you talking about? And that response from everyone wasn't the response that they wanted. And so now there's a whole thing happening on Reddit where everyone's trying to figure out what happened to Dayton. Where is Dayton? Why isn't he on the show? And all I know is that Dayton is not in Montana, okay? Immediately, because they said he was kicked off the show, everyone assumed that's because of the rumors that he had moved in with his dad. He does not live with his dad, and he definitely does not live in Montana. And he is 25, almost 26 years old. So Dayton has, if he wanted to, if he's capable, I don't know what his functioning in terms of self care is for his autism, but he should be capable of living independently. However, when you search him online, the address for Dayton is the same address as Kody and Robyn. It is most likely that Dayton is living with Kody and Robyn. And I don't know if he's living in his RV, in the RV garage. I don't know if he's living in the guest house. I don't know if he's living in a tent in their yard, but his address is the address of Kody and Robyn's new $2 million outdated love nest that they live in right next to the cinder mine. So Dayton's absence from the show is a consistent topic of conversation whenever we talk about it on this channel. And a lot of your comments constantly addressing why isn't he on the show? What's going on? From what I can surmise with Dayton and what I've talked about at length on this channel, during COVID, Dayton did not adhere to the rules for Kody's rules. Because Dayton was going to school at NAU and he wanted to maintain a social life and he didn't want to abide by Kody and Robyn's rules, he was thrown out of the house and they moved him into an RV where he lived in an RV on their property for multiple years. When they were living at the Hash Knife house, individuals toured the home and were told by real estate agents that the RV that was parked on the driveway was where the oldest son had been living, and there was a possibility that they might sell the RV to whoever wanted to buy the home. Now, the new home they ended up buying has an entire garage for an RV, and I don't know if that's where he is living, but there's also a guest house at this new place. But because he would not adhere to the rules and he wasn't down with Kody and Robyn telling him how to live, Kody kicked him out and Robyn let Kody kick him out. Unlike Janelle, who fought for her kids and fought back, Robyn said, okay, fine, you can put him in an RV. So Dayton, from what I was told from a couple years ago, doesn't want to be on the show. It's really as simple as that. But now there are circulating rumors that he's done something bad to get kicked off of the show. The only thing bad I could think of Dayton doing would be not cooperating with filming, not wanting to answer questions, not wanting to be filmed. But if you recall, he was in episodes in the background last year. Thus far this year, he has not been in the background in any episodes. When they were moving, he was not on camera. Now, just because he was not on camera does not mean that he was not there. I know this sounds confusing, but think of it this way. When the Duggars did events and if someone's wedding happened, if Jill was filmed and if she was there at the event, like say Joy's wedding or something, they would just cut Jill out and not show her on camera. When Mary Duggar's funeral was shown on television, they didn't show Jill there and they didn't show Deanna there and they didn't show Amy Duggar there. So there was people intentionally not on camera. Once someone makes a decision with TLC that they don't want to be on TV and they're not willing to sign a waiver that they will appear on the show, they can't show them on camera. So I don't know why Paedon, all these years later, would be running his mouth this way about his brother because, as far as I know, McKelty on her Patreon has stated that Dayton does not want to speak to anyone at all. Like last year, she said that Dayton had zero interest in reconciling with any of his siblings. He did not want to see anyone. He did not want to talk to anyone. He was done. And when McKelty had tried to mediate and encourage him to speak to others, he shut her down very sternly and said he did not want any reconciliation with his siblings. The way that McKelty and Tony describe the kids is they have been very led by Robyn and that Robyn treats them like babies. And Dayton was planning to go to NAU, didn't want his mom to follow him, and he ultimately ended up not being able to get freed from Robyn because everyone decided to move to Flagstaff, so that's why they went there. I mean, Christine makes clear in her book that they moved to Flagstaff to follow Paedon, and from the way that Gwendolyn and Paedon have described it was they, Kody and Robyn, or specifically Robyn, didn't want to let Dayton out of her sight, was scared of him being out on his own and followed them. And so so Dayton was unable to get freed from his mom. That's really how it's always been. So another thing that I think is interesting is that Dayton's issues with the kids had to do with apparently how he was treated by the other people in the family. He did end up getting closer to some of the boys later on, but Paedon was pretty awful to him, I guess, for a very long time and bullied Dayton a lot. And so another issue here is that Dayton doesn't want to speak to Paedon and he has a lot of resentment towards how everything went down with the family. But also, you have to remember, you really don't know what Robyn is putting into their brains about these kids, right? She lies to them about basically everything. She lies to them about his biological father. But one of the biggest turning points with Dayton was not only did he break COVID rules, but after he graduated from high school, in between the summer of school and all of that, he went on a road trip and he reunited with his father. And he spent the summer on a road trip with his dad, going around and going to the various parks. I think they were traveling together for like 3 weeks. So that reunion was because he wanted to see his dad. He hadn't seen his dad in a very long time. I have contacts in Montana, okay, that live in Pinesdale in the cult compound. No one has seen Dayton since he went to visit his dad that summer after he graduated from high school. So it's been many years since. I don't know that he still maintains contact with his dad. I've never asked if he maintains contact. I just know that he hasn't been back since. But that reunion between Dayton and his father was not well received whatsoever by either Robyn or by Kody. So Dayton became rebellious, right? He wanted to reestablish a relationship with his dad. He didn't want to abide by COVID rules. He didn't want to be on camera. He was never comfortable being on camera. He never liked filming. And I think part of his issue with filming is related to autism. Like he is on, and also his appearance. He's uncomfortable with his appearance with the ATV accident. He never wanted to talk about that on camera. His mom forced them to talk about it on camera. They forced him to go through those surgeries on camera. And I think from Kody and Robyn's perspective, he's just too much of a loose cannon and he's not cooperative. And he probably wants to get paid if he's going to be filming. I mean, at this point, he has graduated from college. I don't know if he has a job. His LinkedIn that he once had has been taken down. There's always rumors circulating that he's restarted his life in Texas. He's broken free from Robyn. He's back in Montana. And as much as I want to believe those things, I just know how much control Robyn has over her kids, how much they're brainwashed. And I also know that McKelty, who was in contact with them up until a year and a half ago, was clear that Dayton, one, did not want to be on the show. Dayton did not want to reconcile with his siblings. Dayton made the choice to not wanting to be on the show. Dayton was not compliant with COVID and Dayton was not living with his dad. I think because he's just not been on camera at all this season, it's been harder for people to understand what's going on. And then no, the fuel is added to the fire because Paedon decides that, he's going to say that he was kicked off the show for doing something bad. Paedon also mentioned that, he's not allowed to do these lives on TikTok, which I don't know how anyone could say he's not allowed to. It's not stopping him. But he said that ever since he did the live with John Yates, where he spoke about Mary and accused Mary of abuse, he has been basically banished from being online. Kody was trying to get him to sign an NDA, trying to block him from being on any sort of podcasts. So when he does go online and he says things, then suddenly he backtracks. But what I will say is that Paedon would not be the best source for information on Dayton because Paedon and Dayton don't speak. Paedon did honestly say that Dayton does not keep in touch with anyone, doesn't speak to anyone. He said he hopes that Dayton is doing okay. And I would say the kicking off and the doing something bad, the only thing it is would be being rebellious to the narrative that Kody and Robyn want to play. And if you don't want to play the narrative that Kody and Robyn are actually portraying to the mainstream, you're not welcome on the show. I also know that Dayton does butt heads with Kody, and Dayton and Kody don't get along the best. And because of that, he also doesn't want to be on the show. But I also don't think Robyn will let him move out because I think Robyn believes that he's incapable. And I also know there's a lot of debates about whether or not Dayton actually has autism. And I spoke to a family member that knows him, grew up with him, was there. He was, they said, diagnosed with autism. He received services. He went to public school and received services for autism through the school. He was not self-diagnosed by Robyn. He received a diagnosis from a professional and he is autistic. That's a fact. But just being autistic isn't reason why you can't live independently. Lots of people that have autism are able to live on their own if they have support. Some don't need the support and they can do it without support. He was able to graduate from college. He was able to obtain, 3 separate degrees. He was top in his class. He earned awards when he graduated with his degree. So I don't think he's someone that needs to stay at home. I just think that Kody and Robyn, or Robyn specifically, is controlling him. And I just think that as long as they're controlling him. He's protesting and he's not on the show. Kicked off? I doubt it. If he was kicked off, it's because Kody and him don't get along. That's the truth. So what are your thoughts? What do you think about Paedon running his mouth? What do you think about all of this? Tell me in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, bestie.